Hey, you guys. Hey, you guys. Okay, so let me go make sure that I have everything set up the way it needs to be over here on um Zoom. Okay, so hold on. Let me turn my YouTube down. Hold on. Okay, perfect. So I'm hoping that it is going well and you can hear me. I'm probably gonna need to log on to my YouTube channel just to make sure. So y'all give me 1 second because I want to make sure. These are going to be perfect for like this is how it is when you're the technology team, you're the marketing team, you're all the things. So okay, perfect. So I'm hoping that it is going well and you can hear me. I'm probably gonna need to log on to Yep, so we're good to go. Okay, so perfect. So who am I? I'm Garlinda Price, and I am the agency owner of Fusion Insurance Group. So shout out to all of my fellow life insurance baddies and besties, those of you that sell life insurance, health insurance, IULs, final expense, you name it. If you sell it, I'm excited to be here with you. This is not an easy field, but guess what? We are made to do hard things. We are successful because we press our way. I was just telling my son, shout out to Caleb Price. He is on my insurance team here at Fusion Insurance Group, and we write all of our business now with Senior Life exclusively. And so I wanted to get on here and share with you a quick video about my November sales. Not that you care, right? But there's some people on here that are thinking about getting their insurance license, have their insurance license. Maybe you had failure in insurance. Maybe you had great success in insurance and everywhere in between. But nevertheless, we have partnered with Senior Life full time. It is the only agency that we write for. So I'm going to get that out of the way first, and then we're going to talk numbers. And the reason I did that was, as many of you know, if you've been following me for any length of time, and if you watch any of my videos, I am a was a broker. I'm not now. Right. I was a broker, and I was also contracted with Family First Life. Nothing bad at Family First Life. Totally enjoyed my time there at Family First Life. But I also was between two opinions. And what I mean by that is, if you listen to my videos, I was like, it's great to be a broker. Why you should be a broker? Oh my gosh, I love final expense. And I was on the fence, right? What's the word of God say? If you lukewarm, I'll spit you out, right? And so you cannot serve two masters. You're going to love one and hate the other. So I was already in prayer about whether or not I should go all in at Family First Life or whether I should go all in at Senior Life. And what ended up happening was, as people began to reach out to me and say, hey, are you recruiting brokers? I want to partner with you. I want to get my license. I started having to bring people on board at both places. And I was like, this is going to get tricky. This is going to get messy. And then most of all, it was going to get confusing. Why? Because then people are wondering, well, are Family First Life and Senior Life the same company? If I'm at this training, did I not already go to that training? Who's my upline? Who's my leader? It just started getting real messy, right? Not in a bad way, but just confusing for the agent. And that's not a way to run a successful business. That's not a way to grow a successful business. So I had all these contracts and all these carriers over here at Family First Life. I was writing a lot of health insurance business, but the majority of my final expense, the majority of my whole life products, the majority of my products that I was writing for clients that were over, let's say over 50, was at Senior Life. And so I was like, well, if I'm writing the majority of my products over here, they have a great lead program, right? Are all leads perfect? No. Do some leads suck? Yes. Do some people buy lead? Ask for information and don't want it? Yes. Will some people cuss you out? Yes. Ask my son. It just happened to him, right? We've all been cussed out, but we also have all been blessed and will be blessed to help so many people. That's just a small statistic of it, right? So what happened was I was on a team where I would just say they stopped communicating with me. And so what ended up happening was, when they stopped communicating with me, my friend and I, who is my upline now, shout out to Rico Da Silva. He is such an amazing man of God. He and his beautiful wife and their family, just totally love and adore him. But we were friends at Family First Life, and we remained friends even when he wasn't there. So he's here at Senior Life, and he texted me one evening or one day and asked me, hey, how's business going? I was like, well, it's going great. I put my head down. I'm selling my products, and I'm just going to work. And he said, well, are you getting daily pay? And I was like, you know what, come to think of it, I haven't been getting paid daily. So that began a process of a conversation of him saying, well, you should talk to your upline. I'm like, well, I don't know, for whatever reason, they're not communicating with me and we're not communicating. So I was blessed to be able to switch teams, come on board with him. He immediately did some things for me that boosted my business in such a prophetic, powerful, amazing way. I already had a good business, but now he made it a great business and just really put together this intricate plan to help me build and grow a phenomenal business and for my team and I to have success, not just me. And so, because if you make money, you have success, but your team isn't having success, what are you really doing? Right. And so after that happened, he said, well, listen, in order for us to really sow for the whole company, Senior Life, to sow into your business, you're going to have to make a decision. And he says, sis, are you willing to give up your contracts? I was like, oh my God, Becky, like what? But what's funny is that the day he asked me was the day after I had just prayed and said, Lord, I cannot build both of these entities. I cannot build a profitable business in two locations with two different companies, one over here with about 12 different carriers. And then this singular company, not singular product, but singular company over here. I really want to be all in because you got to focus. Gary Keller wrote this book called The One Thing. And when you get on that one thing, that one vein is so powerful because you can have tunnel vision, you can have focus, and you can have all your destiny going in one direction and not scattered, right? And I felt like all of my resources were scattered and being pulled in different directions because I was buying leads here and buying leads there and just sprinkling leads all over the place, but not consistent, right? Not growing a consistent business. And so when he asked me, would I be all in at Senior Life, I said yes. Literally after he asked me, he said, how soon can you cancel your contracts? I began sending out the emails. I canceled all my contracts with the exception of one that day because I still had a check coming. And I was like, okay, last thing I want to do is mess up any shmoney, right? So after I got that check, I canceled all my contracts because guess what? At the end of the day, you can go back and get the contracts. If something happened, God forbid it all, went to heck in a handbasket, you could go back and get those contracts, right? But I want to see what the end is going to be here at Senior Life. And so this is my second full-time month writing insurance, not selling real estate. I do have a couple of transactions that are in the process of closing, but literally the whole month of November, just like the month of October, was wholly focused on Senior Life. Now, what I will tell you is that for the month of November, as I get ready to go through the numbers, is that I can tell that because my focus was on life insurance and health insurance, I had broken focus because I had to go through all these different trainings. Let me make sure you can still hear me. Okay. Because there were all these different trainings at Family First Life around, their whole focus, they're going to Index Universal Life focuses. That's going to be their focus for 2025. Right. And I don't have a passion around Index Universal Life. I believe that it can be a good product if you understand what you're doing and you know how to deal structure it. I don't, and I didn't want to know, right? I took the training, I took the classes, but I was like, you know what? This is too technical. And I don't want to mess up anybody's potential retirement or long-term financial plans and goals. This is outside of the scope and the realm of what I'm passionate about. I love whole life. I love residual income. I love renewals. And I just didn't want to bother with that, right? So I had to find my passion. You're going to find your bent in insurance of what you do love, what you don't love, what's your passion, what do you like, what are you great at? And then once you find your niche, you'll hear me say it multiple times, there's riches and niches, right? Find your niche, stick with it, right? Mine is whole life, final expense, burial insurance. I'm game changer for me, right? So then IULs, I was going to all these IUL trainings. Every evening I was in a training. Health insurance. I liked health insurance and I felt like health insurance was easy. I had a lead flow that was coming in. I was writing the majority of the let me see, if I had 10 leads, I was writing 7, right? But then there's a waiting period, but not only that, you only get paid 25%. So I'm like, even though it's not hard work, it is a lot of work to keep up with the health insurance to only get 25%. When I was on over there at Family First Life, I was on 120% contract. So I felt like I was doing a lot of work for a little bit of money, and you'll see what I'm talking about reference the health insurance leads when I tell you the numbers. So in addition to that, I was still attending all the senior life trainings and still working on buying leads at senior life and scaling that up and trying to recruit and hire. So I just said, you know what? So I felt like for the month of November, although it was a full-time month, I feel like because my focus was broken, I didn't do as much business as I should have. Now I can't blame it all on that, but I feel like I could have done better and could have done more had I been focused wholly on senior life. Okay. So anyway, this is where we are and this is what happened. So for the month of November, I brought on 3 new business partners that are currently active and in the position to write. And then I have 2 new business partners that will be coming on board that are in class, right? So that was November as it related to recruiting. My total sales were gross $7,595.14 before my lead investment. My lead investment was $2,064 and my net income was $5,531.14. That's pretty great considering I probably worked the month of November when I wasn't in trainings. Let's just call it 20 to 30 hours. Okay. So let's just call it 25 hours. Let's see, how much did we make per hour? How much did I make per hour working insurance? 55, 31, 14 divided by, I'm going to say 30 hours. I made $184 an hour for every hour that I worked. But let's say if it was really 25 hours, 14. It's $221.24 an hour. So for every hour that I worked, that's what I made. So my net income take home pay was $5,531.14. Now, do people make more than that? Yeah, some people making 10,000, 15, 30,000, 50,000 a month, but this is my second full-time month and I only worked literally half the month in terms of the number of hours. I felt like I did more in training than I did in writing. And I feel like I could have done more dials. I needed to have done more dials. If I hold myself accountable, I should have done more dials. I should have bought more leads and I should have had more better time management. I didn't do that well in November. Okay, in terms of my time management. So let's break down the sales. My average lead cost was $25.91. Again, I spent $2,064 in leads to make $5,531.14. Well, gross $7,595.14. So let's say that a different way. I invested $2,064 in leads, which grossed me $7,595.14. When you subtract those leads out, I made a net income of $5,531.14. My average lead cost was $25.91. I did 538 dials. That is not a lot, right? Every day, if you're full-time selling insurance, I should be dialing no less than 150 dials, right? So I did not dial enough. Like for those days that I was working, if I had to average out my dials, which I didn't take the time to do because I think I couldn't find some of my sheets before I got on here. On average, I probably did 60 dials a day. That's not good, right? My average dial should be 150 dials a day. I set 15 appointments. I should be sitting 15 appointments a week, not 15 appointments for the month. That's why I said I didn't really apply myself like I should have based on what I should have been doing. So I set 15 appointments and then 4 of the sales that I had were from referrals. I had 8 no-shows and I didn't track my no's like I should have. And that's not good in business either, because when you track your no's, you will know how many no's it gets to how many no's you need to hear to get to a yes. So I can tell you that I dialed 538 people and that resulted in, the number of sales, but I set 15 appointments. So I don't know my no's. So that means I don't know how much each no made me in terms of money. Okay. So this month I'm going to do a better job at lead tracking. So I also invested 600. So from my lead cost, this is the same $2,064, but if we break it down, I invested $480 in my leads at Senior Life. I invested another $690 in my leads at Senior Life. and I invested $644 in leads through a CRM center at Family First Life. I didn't love those leads. Those were VA, I'm writing myself a note, VA final expense leads. And then the others were senior life leads. And bar none, the senior life leads are just better because we have television leads when the people call in. And I don't even get live transfers, right? Because the live transfers, the system had not been working properly for about a month and a half, and then it came back up. But I'm an outbound telesales person. So the leads that I was buying were from people that had previously called in on a television ad and or called in through Facebook. And so those are the leads that I purchased. And those people remember that they asked for the information for the most part. They still want to hear about the information. Sometimes it's just a matter of affordability, whether or not they can afford it or not, right? And so it's not the same as when I would get leads from the vendor that we had at FFL, and they're like, "What the heck are you calling me for? I didn't ask for anything. I didn't fill this information out." Stop lying, right? That's what you want to say to people, but you don't say it, right? Because you literally have their date of birth, their email address, all the information they put in, but that's another story for another day. But on average, it was $25.91 per lead that I invested, and that made me money. So that means that for every $25.91 that I invested, that money made me $5,531.14. And I took how many leads? I wrote that down somewhere. Hold on. This was 20 leads. This was 30 leads, and this was 20. 20, 40, 70. So 70 leads. Oh, there it is right there. Okay, so I bought 70 leads. On average, the leads were $25.91, which netted me $5,531.14. So I made 2,000 some dollars less in November than I did in October. And I'm fine with that. Like, I know I could have done better and I should have done better. So let me see what the math is on that. If all I did was the same numbers for December and I did that every month times 12, that would make me $66,373.68. Come on now. So if I worked under 30 hours, right, to make $5,531.14 for the month, and I multiplied that by 12, I still would have netted in my pocket $66,373.68. It ain't that bad, right? I just know I can do better, right? And so if that's you, if you're like, Gerlinda, listen, I want to get my insurance license or I want to talk to you about partnering with you on your team, you need to do it, right? One thing that I noticed, and Caleb and I, my son, shout out to him again. We were just talking about this. He's licensed in North Carolina. We just got him licensed in Kentucky and South Carolina yesterday. And one thing we were talking about is don't focus on what everybody else is doing. I don't care what another company is doing. I don't care what anybody else is doing. This is for me and my family and the people that God has called me to serve. And so if that's you, if you're like, you know what, I don't want to hear the noise of what company is against what company, who doesn't like who's arguing about what, is a broker better than an agent, captive, non-captive, who cares? I don't give a crap. Right? What I care about is who has God called me to serve in this business, what family needs our help and wants our help. Everybody you call is not going to want your help, but there's so many people that do. And there's more than one way to skin a cat. I say that all the time. Peter, don't come for me. I mean, a like fake cat, not a real cat, right? Not a literal cat. You can purchase, you can invest in leads. You're not buying them. You're investing and you're your greatest investment, right? You can invest in leads. You can gain referrals. Because those 4 referrals, those are friends and friends of friends. I didn't even have to buy those leads. That was like free money, right? You can go out and host and set up at vendor events. I think I did one vendor event this month and got leads from that. It didn't lead to a sale yet, but it lead to establishing networking relationships. I'm going to a Christmas party this week, and now I get to tell those people at the Christmas party, hey guys, I'm no longer, a full-time real estate agent. I'm a full-time life insurance sales agent, right? Because many of them are going to be realtors, builders, and flippers, right? And all women, all really sharp women. and they're all African-American women, right? So I get to go there and mark, and not that that matters, but I'm just saying if you're in the 1%, which is African-Americans in the financial services industry, there are many of us, right, that are making us great income and are having great success. So if that's you, if you're like, I want to get my license, call me. You can get the license. It's $29. It gives you 60 days to take the class with a free 30-day extension. You can get licensed in multiple states. And you can begin to make an impact for you and your family. My son is 22 years old, and he knows that if he stays the course, he is going to have great success. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And the same is for you. I'm 56, right? There's someone else that I'm hoping will partner with us after she gets her license. She's 65. Let's go, right? So people are coming into this business all ages, and they're dominating. Why? Because they've decided that they no longer want to go out and have their future in the balance held in someone else's hands, right? Or they've decided they want to make more money and they want to keep their job but have a part-time income, or they just want to help people, right? So wherever you find yourself, I want you to give me a call. Again, my name is Garlinda Price. I'm the agency owner of Fusion Insurance Group. My phone number is 910-494-7798. We have coaching, we have training, we have a great lead program. We have 8 ways that you can get paid here at Senior Life. I believe that the company is phenomenal. You're going to look online. Sorry, I burnt my arm, so that's why it looks like that. Some soup took me down last week, right? But when you look online, you're going to hear people dogging out Family First Life. I remember when I went over there and people were like, down out there, had no bad experience. You're going to hear people dogging out Symmetry. Don't go over there. I didn't have a bad experience with the company. The team wasn't a good fit for me, right? And then now here, before I came to Senior Life, tons of people were saying, I was at Lincoln. I think I was at Lincoln Heritage probably for 90 days. And it was nothing wrong with Lincoln Heritage. At the time, my brother had died, my mother-in-law had passed away, and I just could not focus on insurance. And so when I decided to come back, I didn't want the limitations that Lincoln had. There were, with Lincoln Heritage, you have territories. You start out at the lower commission. I think it was 70 or 75%. Now I was over here on 120. Now I'm at 110. I didn't want to be pigeonholed with 70 and 75%. I really felt like it was beneath what I'm owed. That's just how I feel about it. That's the truth. So it was lower commissions. I didn't love that. And then you had to sell 1 policy a month, which that makes sense. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the time I wasn't selling anything at all because I was going through depression. Oh, just sad about my family members. And then you could only sell in different territories. So the organization I was in, I think they were in 7 states. But outside of that 7 states, if you wanted to sell their policy, you couldn't. So you're limited. So if that's the only company you write with and you're limited by 7 states, what about the other 800,000 states? I'm just kidding. It's not 800,000 states, right? But what about the other 43 states? And I'll say less than 43 because we don't sell in New York. But let's just say there are 38 other states. If you're with Lincoln Heritage, you can't sell in, right? And that's not anything negative towards them. They're broken up into groups, and those groups have different states. So no slight on them at all. I just didn't want the limitations. And I wanted higher commissions. I want my team to have higher commissions. And I also want to be in a place where you're not held back in growth because this person's here and they don't want you to go around them. I'm not saying that's how my organization was over there. I'm just saying that there's the potential for that to happen at different companies, right? So I love Senior Life. This is where I've hung my hat. This is where I've planted my flag. This is where we're building a business. If you want more information on the 8 ways we get paid and how you don't have to worry about chargeback roll-ups, woo, honey, as a broker, I've had to pay back when I was at Family First Life and I had a team. And even when I was at Symmetry and had a team, I've had to pay back well over $10,000 in chargebacks of other people's bad business, right? At Senior Life, you don't have to worry about that because they have a system set in place where you don't have those roll-up chargebacks, right? They have a phenomenal system in place. So if you want to know about it and how to avoid chargebacks, you need to give me a call. Not saying you won't have them, but they won't hurt you like that, right? And so that's big business. If you want to say, okay, how can I still sell a value-added, high-intent product, final expense burial plan, burial insurance, and get to keep my renewals? Because guess what? As a broker, I thought I was keeping my renewals, and I happened to be training an agent. Shout out to Nikisha. She just had her first sale yesterday. we were on one of the carrier websites, and this is when I was in prayer about, okay, Lord, I might need to go ahead and just focus over here on Senior Life solely. We were in the back of one of the carriers over at Family First Life, one of the carriers I had over there was 12. And when we were looking at the renewal schedule, guess what? We got paid one time for a whole life product, which should be, there are renewals on a whole life product, normally up to 10 years, no renewals on none of the products that were under there. And here I am thinking I'm going to keep getting paid over and over and over again. No, I was going to get paid once. I said the devil is a black lie and a defeated foe, right? So come to find out that contract, so who's getting my renewals? Is it Family First Life? Is it who over there is getting our renewals, right? But over here at Senior Life, you get your renewals up through year 10 and even year 11. Glory to God. So I said, so that's why when Rico said, Garlinda, would you be willing to close out your carrier contracts and come over here and be all in at Senior Life? It was not hard for me to make a decision. Why? Because I knew that over here, when I had just looked at my carrier contracts, I wasn't getting all my money. I was like, Houston, we got us a whole problem. Like, what is really going on? Okay, so I'm just going to look over here in the chat to see if we have any questions. I don't see any, but if that's you, listen, we're building and growing a phenomenal business. We're looking for multilingual, multicultural. We're looking for Hispanic. We're looking for all nationalities to come over here. We have a huge Spanish division. If you're Spanish speaking, I mean, yesterday when all the live transfers were coming in and I was watching them as I was like working on my own lead call out, it was Spanish transfer, Spanish television lead, Spanish live call in. So much opportunity for those of you that are bilingual and multicultural, of course, everyone else. But you want to talk about top commissions in a final expense burial plan, a value added product that will blow any other carrier out the water, not the cheapest, not the most expensive, right in the middle with value added products that they keep adding. Our own pharmacy that just launched two new products that just came out, and one that is highly competitive with Mutual of Omaha's platinum product. I mean, great program. Give me a call. I'm Garlinda Price, and I'm the agency owner of Fusion Insurance Group, and you can call me at 910-494-7798. But that's my November recap. Gross sales, 7,500, personal sales, $7,595.14. Net income take home, $5,531.14. Let's go. Let's see what December holds. And then I forget what I did for October. Let me see if I wrote it down. October net income was $8,092.93. So in the last 2 months, let's see, let's add that up. $13,624.07. So there's money to be made in insurance, and you don't have to work from sun up to sundown. I do telesales. I only do on the phone. If you want to do in-person sales, you can. I personally don't, but there are people that crush it in the field. But if you're like, you know what, I want to work from home, I just want to do telesales, do that. If you say, Garlinda, you know what, I need help, I want to get started, will you handhold me? We're going to be creating a telesales division. So if you have telesales experience, and if you're multicultural, bilingual, and you speak English and Spanish, right? Then we are looking for those of you that want to make extra income. You got to get your license, and we can put you on. Okay, we can help get you set up with some leads, because we're going to be launching our telesales division. Okay, so again, I'm Garlinda Price, 910-494-7798.